on public participation and public involvement. As you might know, it's one of the 8 thematic groups organized by CIVITAS, which aim is to exchange among cities and cities representatives on the topic decided. Public participation and public involvement is one of them. And we have been moving recently, or no, some months ago now, this thematic group on LinkedIn. So if you are interested in exchanging or asking questions or knowing more from other cities representatives on this topic, I would invite you to join the LinkedIn CIVITAS group on public participation and involvement. Then now on today's seminar, so the theme is public participation and citizens engagement, sorry. And we have invited 4 speakers from different projects and from different cities. Their common point is that their city has been a winner or runner-up of the CIVITAS award in the field of public participation. So we hope that they will be able to share with us their experience and their feedback in this area. So we will have a representative from Reggio Emilia, from Brighton, from Krakow, and then a representative from Slovenia, but speaking on one of the CIVITAS projects also. So I'm just checking if we have questions for the moment. No, so it seems okay. So I suggest to start, and it's just 2:05, so that's perfect. So if Alessandro is okay, I will check if he is okay. I would like to start with Alessandro Megliato. So he's from Reggio Emilia, and Reggio Emilia was the winner of the 2012 CIVITAS Award for Public Participation. So Alessandro, or his colleague, or her colleague, yeah?
Good morning.
Yes, hello.
Okay, hello. I'm Elise Nervini. In this moment, Alessandro Meggiato is busy for an urgent situation or necessity of the municipality, so he asked you to postpone your presentation.
Yeah, it was there and then it disappeared, so I was not sure if I had to keep him at the beginning or at the end. So thank you. So I suggest to move to England instead, and have Debbie there. So I just have to make Debbie the presenter.
Yes, hi Melanie, hi.
Yes. Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes, very well. So just I have to introduce you very briefly. I don't have a lot of detail about you, but you're working for Brighton Hove, and you have been involved in the Archimedes project. So if you want to say just a few words on yourself, you can, or you can just start with the presentation, is as you wish. Okay?
Okay, thanks Melanie. Yeah, my name is Debbie Reed and I work for Brighton Hove City Council. As Melanie said, I've been working on the CIVITAS plus Archimedes project for the last 4 years as the local dissemination manager and also the measure leader for the road safety project that we were doing there. So today I've got my dissemination hat on and I'm speaking about our public participation measures in Brighton and Hove. So I'll just move on to the first screen if I can. Why isn't that working? For some reason.
You have the arrow at the left-hand side bottom. No, at the bottom left-hand side of the.
Oh yes,
slide.
yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, thank you. Okay, great, thanks. And I'll just move that down there. Okay, yes, so today I'm going to talk to you about our innovative approach to travel planning and how we engage the public and how public engagement and participation played a big part in our travel planning measures. Just to start off, a little bit of background. As part of the CIVITAS plus Archimedes project, we carried out 3 travel planning projects. One that focused on school travel planning, the second focused on commuter travel planning, and the third focused on personalised travel planning. So all 3 of those travel planning projects had a collective aim to encourage more people to travel around the city sustainably, reduce travel-related carbon emissions and congestion levels, and improve and encourage healthier lifestyles. So when we first started off, through our initial research, in 2008, we recognized that travel plans had become rather paper-based, almost form-filling exercises. Essentially, what we found is that people here in the city found it difficult to know where to start. We also noticed that giving travel information to individuals didn't necessarily mean that residents or commuters or school children would use sustainable transport. So we recognised again that we were entering a new phase of travel planning where schools or businesses and individuals needed practical support to sustain their travel plans. We found, let me just move on to the next slide. We recognised that the best travel plans focused on actions that transpired into tailor-made measures. So if we wanted individuals to sustain their travel plans, we needed to understand their existing travel behaviour and their travel needs and work in partnership with them to develop practical and achievable travel planning solutions for them, because everybody has different needs. And this approach, with working with individuals or school children or businesses, this approach encouraged two-way engagement and participation. All the key ingredients we found to make, or needed to make, travel plans a success. I'll just move on to the next slide. So here you can see on this slide that there's lots of pictures of different either different measures or training or initiatives that we carried out through the 3 travel planning projects. We worked with a range of people, from staff at businesses or the staff here at the City Council. We worked with school children and young people, through colleges, primary schools, nurseries, universities. We worked with parents and guardians of the young children. We also worked with residents and, as I said before, the local businesses and organisations. So it was a real widespread mix of people that we worked with. So I'll start off by providing some examples of what we did. Here on this slide that you can see at the bottom, you have the group of school children there in orange high visibility vests on their scooters. And this is a photo of the scooter training that we developed through CIVITAS. This is part of the school travel planning project. And whilst we were working, what this was whilst we were working closely with the schools and nurseries in the city, we saw a large increase in the number of children using scooters to get to school. And this was a relatively new thing at the time. It became a trend. It was a craze. Every child almost, wanted to go to school on a scooter. And in response to this, we developed scooter training for the children in partnership with the local schools and nurseries. Because there's one thing in actually having a scooter and being able to use it in a safe way to get to and from school. So we developed training to complement our existing road safety training that we give to school children in the city. So where we had pedestrian road safety training and cycling road safety training for the children already, we extended that to include road safety training for when they were using scooters. So we worked with the parents and the teachers at the schools, and we tried and tested and evaluated the training program at 3 schools to begin with, and it was a great success that we're pleased to say. And so we rolled it out to a number of other schools and nurseries across the city, and to date 1,257 children have received the training, which I think is, is a great number, and we found that 13% of car journeys had reduced by 13% over the course of the project, compared to 8% reduction of schools that were outside of the corridor. So that's a saving of 5% in car trips. So we found, just in brief, so we found that those schools that were in the CIVITAS area had reduced their car usage far more than those schools outside of the CIVITAS area. So that's one example. If you look at the photograph on the top left of the screen, you'll see a photograph of parents of the school children standing at a table filling out some forms. What this was about is that we recognised that involving parents and guardians of the school children was very important, and the school and the parents also agreed with this. You'll see in the photo that they're completing their travel plans on a table. And what happened here was the school, were really keen to get involved, which was great, and they took ownership of the survey, and also the parents got involved. So the parents distributed the survey to other parents. They set up a stall in the playground, as you can see in the photograph, and it was a great way to engage with the parents. So parents engaging with parents, rather than us, the officers from the council, it's parents engaging with parents, which is a really effective thing to do. And again, we did a survey. We didn't just think, oh, right, well, let's do this measure. We actually wanted to find out what their existing travel behaviour needs were. So we asked them to complete a survey, and analysis of that survey gave us some great information, and from that we were able to design appropriate measures for that particular school and the school children there. So that's a great example of doing research and surveys first before deciding on what measure to actually do. Just very quickly, I don't want to go on too long, but again, if I go on to the next slide, again, we have a great example here, the bottom right photograph of all-weather storage being put in place. And this was installed after another survey showed that staff would cycle more if they had better storage facilities. So again, we did a survey first, asked the staff and students at the college what would they need and what would help them, what would encourage them to travel more sustainably. The survey told us that if they had proper facilities, that would encourage them. So we worked with the college. The college actually paid 50% of the costs and installed. They actually bought the equipment and we installed it for them. So it was a collaboration. We worked together. It was a 50-50 partnership. And that's really beneficial because then everybody gets involved in the process and feels the benefit of it at the end of the day. And we're pleased to say that once the cycle storage facilities had been installed, cycling did increase in the college. So that was a great result. Similarly, we've had bike days to encourage staff or commuters to travel more sustainably. We've promoted the council tax-free bike scheme. You'll see on the bottom left there's two gentlemen standing there, again to encourage more cycle use. They're just different ways of how we've done it. We've actually given cycle training to different businesses in the city, so members of the police. You'll see at the photo top right, given cycle training to the police, members of the police force and the hospital staff, again to enable them to travel sustainably to and from work. We have plenty of other examples, but I don't want to go on too long because I appreciate other people are also going to be speaking today. But just finally to finish off, well, let's have a look at some results. So if we can have a look here, this is just these results here are focusing on the school project. Of course, we've got results from the commuter and the personalised travel planning project also, but here we're looking at the schools. And again, as I said earlier, there a 13% decrease in car trips to and from school, and a 9% increase in walking in schools, and 100% of local authority schools had a school travel plan by the end of the project, which is a really great result. And transferability, very, very easy. They've tried the measures that we carried out are tried and tested. They're ready-made solutions. So another city could take these initiatives and adapt them to their city and roll them out very easily and pretty much straight away. They're very low cost. Our measures or initiatives training supported the school curriculum. Obviously partnership working was key, and we're pleased to say that long-term behaviour change is achievable. So yeah, why not have a go? I think my last thing I would say is that two-way engagement is key. So in short, involve the community, listen and understand their travel behaviour and travel needs. That's really important. And use those findings to innovate your services, the measures, initiatives, etc. that you implement as part of your CIVITAS project, and ultimately help to improve lives or travel behaviours that are going to have a long-term benefit for all of us. So they're my sort of final words, really. So yeah, that's it from me. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, please do ask. And if I don't have the answer here with me today, then I'm more than happy to send you details via email, etc.
Okay, thank you, Debbie. We have indeed a question for Debbie from Bruno Pereira. He's asking if you improved or if you raised the number of cycle lanes in Brighton. Debbie?
Yes, sorry, could you... Hi, yes, no, I didn't hear the question, sorry. Could you repeat the question?
Okay. So I see we have a yeah, we have a question from Bruno Pereira, and he would like to know if you improved or if you raised the number of cycle lanes in Brighton.
Through the CIVITAS measures. Yes, we certainly did. As part of, I mean, the examples that springs to mind at the moment is through our road safety project in CIVITAS. There's particular hotspots in Brighton where a number of cycling accidents, if you like, had occurred, and we wanted to make the cycle lanes more obvious. We wanted them to stand out, to really raise awareness to people, to other drivers or users of the road, that cyclists do use this part of the road, so do look out for them. So we painted existing cycle lanes that were there on this particular busy road a really bright red to really catch the attention of everybody using that road that this is a cycle lane, so please be aware of this, that you may in fact be sharing the road with cyclists. So that's just one example of what we did to improve some existing cycle lanes here as part of CIVITAS.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I think that's all the questions we have for the moment. I forgot to mention at the beginning, so participants, so you can ask questions by raising hand or by asking question in the box question, and you can ask them during the presentation so that we can ask the speakers after the presentation, but we'll have also some time at the end. So if we have questions which are matching the different presentation, it would be possible to have discussion after. So now we are going to Krakow with André. Oh, yes, André, I hope you were there. So André is going to speak a little bit on the Caravelle, CIVITAS Caravelle example, and so present his experience also with the topic of the seminar. So, yeah, you have about 10-15 minutes.
All right, okay. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Andrzej Szarata. I work at Krakow University of Technology in Krakow. I was taking part in the CIVITAS Caravelle project, which was held in Krakow in 2004-2008. So, as you can see in the title of my presentation, I will give you a few information about what has happened after 5 years of the project, which I think will be very interesting to you. In Krakow, I was local evaluation manager, so I was supposed to prepare evaluation procedure of all measures we have conducted in Krakow. And I was also responsible for the whole Caravelle project for transferability analysis. We have a lot of reports and a lot of data. If you are interested, of course, you can ask after the presentation. I can send you also a lot of materials. At the end of the presentation, I will explain why I'm offering you this data. The general background of the CIVITAS Caravelle project was to increase the renewable resources in energy. It was, I think, one of the most important issues which we have conducted in the project. Of course, we are also dealing with traffic-related air and noise pollution, which in Krakow is a really important issue. Almost every day, especially now in the winter time, we have a much higher level of PM10, for example, or CO2 emission than it is possible to have in the city. So the air quality is really poor and really low in Krakow. So this measure was also, this aim was also very important to us. We also focus on improving health and well-being of all citizens. In Poland, according to my best knowledge, it was really important due to the situation that we are not a kind of a community, inhabitants of the city, which are working together on our environment, on the city. So it was really important to provide a lot of meetings, a lot of seminars, forums to explain, to raise the awareness level of the transportation issues among citizens. We're also dealing with disadvantaged citizens, especially elderly people, and I will tell you a bit about it later. Of course, durable economic development, broad social consensus, and ecological footprint on mobility. A lot of our activities I will present later on. The partners of the whole project were from four countries, from Italy, Spain, Germany, and of course from Poland. We're cooperating together during the whole project in Krakow, which is for me, as a citizen of the city, very interesting. It was a cooperation of municipality, public transport operator, and university.
Sorry,
Yes.
Sorry, Andre?
Yeah.
Just
Yes.
1 second. I have a question. If you could just speak a little bit louder.
Yeah. Okay. I will try to change the microphone because I have two facilities. 1 second.
Okay. Just speak a little up and it should work. Thank you.
Hello. Can you hear me better now?
That's good now. Thank you.
It's better. Okay. Sorry, I have problems with the computer, but now it should be better. Anyway, in Krakow we have three partners: municipality, public transport operator, and Krakow University of Technology. I would like to emphasize this issue because in Polish condition it is not very obvious that we are cooperating together. Of course we should do it, but practice shows that it's not like that. So according to our experience in CIVITAS Caravel, we show that it's possible and this cooperation can be really fruitful. What we did in Krakow, we have 18 measures. Total measures in Caravel were 54, so it was a really big project. The most interested and the most important ones you can see on the list. The bike rental scheme. It was very interesting experience because it was the first bike rental scheme in Poland. We have implemented it in Krakow. On the second picture you can see it's over here the example of the bikes we had. After our experiences was the basis for other cities in Poland. We had a lot of trips, a lot of guests from other Polish cities just to see how the system works, and then open their own systems in other cities like Wrocław or Warsaw. The problem with this measure was that after CIVITAS Caravel, the bike rental scheme had lowest number of users, and the city was not too interested in developing such system. And I'm afraid that next year we will not have anything. So it is maybe a bad example how it works, but the good information, good point is that a lot of bike rental schemes occurs in other cities and they work really well. We have very modern and very interested measure which is called bus on demand. We call it telebus, and this bus operates on the low density areas in the city of Krakow, and it works like a taxi, almost like a taxi. You can call to the operator and ask when you will have a bus, and the operator is contacting the driver, the bus driver, asking him to change the route to pick up the passenger. This is a really successful measure because the Caravel was subsidizing this measure during the project, but afterwards we didn't have money for that. But for public transport operator and for the city, it was better solution than to have the regular bus lines in this area. So we have up to now this telebus operating, and it works, I guess, really very well. We have also implemented in Krakow mobility plan. It was the first mobility plan in Poland, especially for university. We had at university mobility consultant. We have conducted a lot of very interesting activities for students. We have a lot of happenings for bikes. We have happenings for public transport users at university. For example, we gave one bus ticket to the students of the first year with a small leaflet how to travel in Krakow using buses or trams. So it was really successful measure. We have implemented also carpooling system. Again, it was one of the, I guess it was the first system, the carpooling system in Poland. This carpooling system was aimed on students and employees at university. And it is funny when we compared our experience to Stuttgart, for example, because Stuttgart has implemented such system before the Caravel, and it costs hundreds of thousands of euros. In Krakow, we have implemented the system for, let's say, 1,000 euro, because it was the cost of the software, a very simple one, and it works really well, because it was aimed on, as I said, on students and employees, and they were contacting themselves and asking about common trips. So it was really good one, and this carpooling website works still for students. They are using it almost commonly. Then we had a very big issue in Krakow. It is access restriction. As you know, when you want to close the street for cars, it is always very difficult, especially from the shopkeepers or inhabitants' point of view. We're trying to do it, and the only thing we did was the plan, how to do it, the plan, the traffic scheme, what we have to do, and we closed the street once or twice maybe. Just for happenings, and that's it. So it was not very fruitful measure, but one of the most variable results of this measure was to have a much higher awareness level. So now it's a bit easier to convince people that we can close the street and it will not work against the inhabitants. Then we had the bus lanes. It is really big task, big measure in Krakow. Krakow was usually the leader in bus lanes system in Poland. We had, as far as I know, maybe I'm wrong, but as far as I know, in Krakow Krakow was the first city with bus lanes, exclusive bus lanes in the city. In Caravel we were enlarging the level of bus lanes in the city. We're measuring. We did a lot of measurement, and thanks to this, we had opportunity to convince decision maker of it. We had also the most expensive measure. It was clean vehicle fleet. It was the assumption that the public transport operator will change the rolling stock, the buses, into the CNG buses. The problem was that we were trying to get some other sources of subsidizing the CNG buses, and the public operator didn't get this money. So at the end we got only 3 or 4 CNG buses. You can see on the picture downstairs under here. We had only 3 or 4 buses with CNG engine, and they are operating up to now. But it was, we thought that it will be a first step, but it wasn't. The public transport operator said that it's too complicated, it's too expensive, and too sophisticated system to have it for the common use. In Poland we have few cities which are using CNG buses, but they are not very enthusiastic about it. They have a lot of problems with it. Anyway, we test it, we check it, we measure a lot of data, a lot of information, collect a lot of information, and give the suggestions for the further possible implementation of CNG buses. We had also a lot of soft measures which were aimed on increasing the awareness level of public transport users. We have a lot of meetings, a lot of seminars, a lot of small conferences for public transport users. We had a few short TV programs in our local TV station, in the radio station. Also, it was a small discussion about public transport advantages. So it was really interesting. One of the most interesting, from my point of view, activities on this field was to to work a bit with children. It was really interesting to have a small presentation with trams, buses, and try to convince children which are 6 or 7 years old that car is not the only way of transport. We have very funny situation when we present a lot of buses on the pictures, because the presentation should be very interesting with a lot of colored pictures. We present a lot of buses, we have presented a lot of trams, and at the end one of the small children asked us from which company we are coming, that we want to sell the bus. So it was the understanding of my presentation. And the last of the presented measure was integrated ticketing and tariffs, and it was really a big step for Poland, because in Poland we had very limited application of integrated ticketing system. In Krakow we have implemented it, and it works up to now, and it is now we are working on enlargement the system. Anything. What about the results? As I said during this small introduction of the measure, few measures still working. So we have still the telebus. You can see on the right side over here. This is the buses. They are special color. The color for buses in Krakow is blue, like you can see on the CIVITAS Caravel tram. But especially for the purpose of the green bus, we have implemented green buses. The bike rental, okay, it works, but as I said, it is going down, I guess. The mobility forum, I didn't mention about it, which is very important, because we have every month we have a special meeting. We are inviting experts, we are inviting people from authority, and we are inviting citizens, inhabitants of the city, and we are talking about the most interesting, the most controversial decision in the city. So I think it is really important for us. Access restriction, yes, it works. We can say that it works. Of course not. It was much less implemented than we have planned, but I think it is a very small step for the beginning. And of course, bus lane. I think it's really great result of Caravel. We have a lot of bus lanes in Krakow. We are still thinking to develop it, and I think that Caravel was a good project in terms of raising up awareness level. Not only the inhabitant, but also decision makers. Now we have young people who are head of the public transport operator, for example, and he was cooperating with us in Caravel, so I understand how it works, and it's much easier to implement some sustainable solutions. What about conclusion? Just to summary my short presentation. To be honest, I said all of them. The seminars and workshop. It is also I think worth to say something about it. We have not only some mobility forum. We are organizing in Krakow at university in the city. We're organizing few meetings concerning public transport, transportation systems. So the consultation between inhabitants and the operator, for example, we are also conducting as a meeting, not only a decision in the offices. The Caravel stays the base for further projects like NEASH for elderly people, like MAX for mobility management, and Track It for CO2 emission development. So the Caravel is for Krakow was and is a really important background for further activities. Only a few words about transferability analysis. We have checked all 54 measures in Caravel, not only from Krakow, but also from other CIVITAS cities, Caravel cities. We have prepared a special table in which we found weak and strong points and the precondition which must be fulfilled to implement such measure. This report has almost 200 pages, so it's really difficult to read it, but it is structured, I think, well structured in a few parts. So if you are interested, you can find it in the CIVITAS website. So thank you very much. I hope I was understandable in my presentation. If you have any questions, I hope I can help you.
Thank you, Andrei. Yes, there are two questions. So one question from Jeronimo Jablonski, asking how you can measure, or how you can measure the private bike in Krakow and the bike use in the bike rental scheme. So I hope I got the question. So I hope you can answer this question.
I will ask first. The bike rental scheme was the system. It was the informatics system in which you have to sign up to have the bike. It was not the open use. You have to use your credit card, and it was a small amount of money was blocked on your card. The first 30 minutes was for free for the bike, and we had 15 bike stops in the city. So every time you get the bike, you were in the database. So we knew how many people were using the bicycles and for how long they were using it. So we had such data. And the second, from the second point of view, we had also a lot of traffic survey in which we are counting the level of cyclists. Unfortunately, in Krakow, the level of cyclists, according to all measurement, is about 2% of all traffic. So it is not a very high level. I guess that this is underestimated. It is a bit bigger, but the weather in Krakow is not very often is not very nice, and the number of bikers on the street strictly depend on the weather condition.
Okay, so it's just basic, or it's with survey. It's not with counting machines or this kind of things. It's with surveys for the private bikes.
Yes, we don't have a counting machine at all. We have just surveys or manual measurement.
Okay. So I hope it answers Geronimo's questions. If not, you can re-ask the question, Geronimo, or you can raise your hand, and I will give you the floor. We have a second question also from Simon Field, asking what sort of barrier had you to overcome to introduce integrated ticketing system in Krakow, and is asking also if the suburban trains are included.
Okay, the integrated ticketing and tariffs was working only with suburban rail. So it was a test on the one corridor, very highly occupied by passengers, and if you were traveling in this corridor, you can use one common ticket for tram and train, for example. And what barriers? It is, I guess, very difficult to explain. You should be Polish to understand what I'm talking, but the problem is how to spread the cost of the travel of this passenger. I mean, which operator, either public transport or rail operator, will get the money for the tickets, and in which part. We have tickets in traditional way. It was a paper tickets, so we have no information about number of passengers using both ways. And it was the first problem. The second problem was the tender barrier. Tender means that the rail operator is a public body, and if they want to share the income with the tickets with other companies, they should provide a tender. I'm not sure if I explain it properly, but it was a problem of the public money. But they solved the problem, and now it works very well.
Good, thank you. So Simon, I hope this answered your question also. I think that's the only question we had for the moment for André. So I thank you, André. And,
okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. And we will go to Slovenia now with Milena. So up. Yes. Milena, can you?
Yeah.
Yes, good. You're here.
Yeah.
Hello.
I'm here. Hello, everybody.
Okay, so you have the same like 10 or 15 minutes to present. And so Milena will speak about the experience of citizen engagement, focusing a bit more on the ELAN experience, CIVITAS ELAN project. So now it's for you.
Okay, thank you, Melanie. So I will be focusing my presentation a little bit on citizens engagement, and as it was said, I will present the lessons that we learned during the implementation of CIVITAS ELAN project. Let me just tell you that I was the Citizens Engagement Coordinator in this project, and I was working closely with the site dissemination managers and of course with the site coordinators and measure leaders. Just a second. Well, I had to find out where is that arrow. Well, as you may know, CIVITAS ELAN connected 5 cities, Ljubljana, Slovenia, Brno, Czech Republic, Porto, Portugal, Ghent, Belgium, and Zagreb, Croatia. And these cities were very diverse, not only regarding the culture, geography, language, etc., but also regarding the democratic or participatory culture. And while in Ghent, the community planning has been well embedded for last 2 decades, in other 4 cities, the participatory culture is in fact being developed, and especially there was no participatory practice in mobility yet in those cities. But although diverse, cities agreed about the common project mission, which in fact gave the citizens an important role. So we consider citizens not as a problem but as a part of solution. And our mission said that we will mobilize our citizens by developing with their support clean mobility solutions for vital cities, etc. And we also had a common goal related to citizens' engagement, and this goal was to make in each city a significant step forward in citizens' engagement practice since the start of ELAN. So what we wanted was to make a significant change and progress, of course, with consideration of the specifics of the cities. And the basis for achieving the mission and the objectives were some mechanisms like citizens engagement strategy, which was prepared at project level, and then citizens engagement action plans, which were developed by cities, and then specific engagement plans at measure level. And of course there were several trainings and let's say a tool or a database entitled Citizens Engagement Shelf, where there was a lot of good practice cases and methodological papers, documents which could help measure leaders to design their and to plan their engagement activities. And what the measure leaders in 5 cities achieved was a significant, impressive number of citizens engagement activities, like open public events, workshops, discussions with citizens, surveys, individual meetings, awareness-raising campaigns, site visits, exhibitions, videos, and a lot of course, promotional materials like leaflets, posters, and so on. And what we used was also, or measure leaders in fact used, were also social media. So we had some attempts and some experiences also using social media. And while implementing all these activities, several experiences and lessons learned were gained, and we registered them. At the end of CIVITAS ELAN, we came together and we discussed which are the lessons that we learned. And I will briefly present you now these lessons learned, which are in fact somehow packed or grouped into 3 groups. Lessons learned related to planning, and then to implementation, and to the impact made by citizens' engagement activities. And the first lessons learned was that a participatory culture and strong political support are preconditions for successful citizens' engagement. In the cities where this participatory culture was not so developed, it was, for measure leaders, it was much more demanding work if they wanted to achieve the plans related or the objectives related to citizens' engagement. Then measure leaders usually need professional support in planning and implementing citizens' engagement, as they are mainly technicians not used to conducting such processes, and that's why measure leaders express their wish that next time they would have a professional support, external support for this. Then next lesson is related to knowledge, to knowing the stakeholders and our target groups. So detailed knowledge about the characteristics and interests of stakeholders and citizens groups helps in identifying, of course, the ways of how to motivate them to become engaged. It is important that we know who are those stakeholders and citizens that we would like to engage. Then next lesson, citizens are more willing to get involved when they are acquainted with a concrete engagement plan. And this engagement plan usually defines which are the objectives and issues for consultation, then the timing of consultations of these events where we meet citizens and stakeholders, and also or especially the ways how the citizens' comments and proposals will be taken into account. Next lesson related to early involvement, early and continuous involvement, which are also crucial for the success of consultation process. As early as possible, it is good to involve citizens. Then, in spite of potential reservations at the beginning, which happen very often, you know, that citizens have reservations and doubts and are maybe trustless, so they don't trust really. But, you know, when you continue, you find out that, in fact, citizens are interested to learn more and also to discuss about mobility issues, which in fact are maybe a bit more demanding and not usual. But then lesson learned related to party planning and also implementation is that citizen participation is most effective when citizens are asked to contribute in identifying needs and problems. We heard from Debbie before how important it is to listen about the travel needs. Then in providing local information and knowledge in discussions and deliberations on various possible solutions, and also in testing and feedbacking new solutions. Next lesson, consultations should be based on good provision of information to all involved actors. It is crucial that those who we would like to be involved have the knowledge or have the subject-related information and have also all the information related to possibilities for involvement. And of course, innovative and attractive engagement techniques prove to be effective and appreciated by the stakeholders. Also, techniques which are funny and so on. Then citizens and stakeholders are more prepared to become involved if they are approached professionally and potentially rewarded. So when the content or the questions of the survey are well prepared, if they wear uniforms or badges and things like that. Then sometimes it is difficult to reach a certain target group, especially the citizens with a negative attitude towards sustainable mobility measures, and persistence is needed, of course, and tailor-made approaches. And but it is important that we don't stop with the first disappointment, but try to know better the target group and of course to continue with the efforts. And the experiments with social media have proven to be very fruitful. but still both are necessary. This was the experience of ELAN partners, use of social media and direct communication with people in the field. And now regarding the impact, we learn that mobility policies, plans or measures that include citizens' needs, values and opinions are first of higher quality, secondly have greater legitimacy, and of course higher acceptance by the citizens, by the stakeholders. And consultation with stakeholders and the public has resulted, in the case of ELAN, in a set of valuable information, data, opinions and suggestions. So measure leaders got a lot of all this when engaging the citizens. Then the next lesson is that citizens tested new technical solutions in many cases, and also services, of course, and gave feedback on their usefulness and effectiveness. In several cases, citizens changed also their behavior towards more sustainable mobility modes, and of course, several times the objective of a certain engagement activity was just this, to bring to the behavioral change. And in a very few cases, but really very few cases, the involvement of stakeholders caused an obstruction. But in majority, it increased the awareness and mutual trust. And when in the cases of obstruction, we could notice also that maybe the approach or the plan for the engagement was not appropriate one. And this is the last lesson learned. The CIVITAS ELAN project contributed significantly to the rise of participatory culture in all 5 cities. So I could say in the name of CIVITAS ELAN partners that it was worth the efforts that were put into engagement of citizens. This is now my last slide. As I said, we gather all these lessons learned. We described also our approach. Of course, this work was done in close cooperation and also by the measure leaders of CIVITAS ELAN and site dissemination managers also, and site coordinators. So it was really a joint effort. So we prepared this publication. This was prepared also based on the initiative of the European Commission. This publication, Citizen Engagement in the Field of Mobility, is available at the CIVITAS website, and I think that also on the, but I'm not completely sure, I think also on the website of the, or the site of the thematic group on public participation. So this is all from my side at the moment. Thank you.
Thank you, Melina. Yeah, it's very good you mentioned this publication, because you had mentioned it to me and I had forgotten to mention it at the beginning. So I would invite people to go on CIVITAS website to find it. And I'm not sure either it's on the public participation page, but I will put a link. Then I'm just checking quickly if we have questions now for you. I don't think so. Okay. So it's already 3 o'clock now. I have some questions, but maybe I will keep them for later, and we can have the presentation from Alessandro. So Alessandro Meggiato from Reggio Emilia. Okay. And Alessandro, that's what I started to say at the beginning, is representing Reggio Emilia, and they were the winner of last year CIVITAS Award for public participation. So we want to know more, and we want to know why you were the winner of this prize. So Alessandro, your microphone is off for the moment. So if you want to speak, you have to unmute you, because we cannot hear you for the moment. Alessandro, you have to unmute your microphone. Yes. So now we can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, that's okay now. So now you can start your presentation.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Good morning. Now, okay. Thank you very much. Now, first of all, I would sorry for my bad English, but I try to do my best. And now, this experience that we show is related to a big consultation among many actors dealing with mobility in home-to-school travels. So, just one moment. Okay. In Reggio Emilia city has a strong experience in education, especially in from 0 to 6 years ago education, and it takes care of course, in a deep way about school and primary school. So we think that speaking to children or uniting education and mobility is the best way to involve people to change behavior in order to change behavior to mobility. So here I have some data. In 2009, Reggio Emilia Municipality promoted a call for subscribing a manifesto for safe, sustainable and autonomous independent mobility in home-to-school routes. And it was to involve several actors like the mobility agency, the pediatricians, and for example involving of course schools, teachers and directors, and involving also the authority about environment and health. So, launching this call, we would like to share a planning process in order to have a better behaviors for mobility of children. For example, this is the background. In 1961, 80% of children went to school by foot or bicycle, so in a sustainable way. Now, the 70% of children go to school by car every day. So we have some problems related to the first of all to the lack of movement, of physical activity, and the lack of social lives for children, because they start to do not recognize the open space, the public space, the rules to use the road. And so, and also we have some general problems, which are the pollution, the road accidents, and chaos, especially in front of schools. This call for a manifesto was subscribed in April 2009 with this aims to have a shared tool to involve all the schools in the city for mobility and entering mobility theme into educational programs as a new working method to for involving all actors of the mobility sectors. It's a way to endorse schools and families, also to speaking to children and to reach families and parents, and to network experiences and projects to optimize the city resources, and of course to take part in competitions submitting this complex and overall project, which is the main challenges. The first one, sorry, is to convince all actors to do all they can do to change means of transport for children, to have its own role and to be committed in it. Another change is to double the number of children going to school by beachy bus. Beachy bus is in other context, in other cities called bike trains. Is a group of children going to school by bike with the two adults going with them. And this is our first experience of sustainable mobility in the schools. We start in 2003 with 3 beachy bus lines involving 70 children. Now we involve 14 schools on the 40 primary schools. We involve about 600 of children in beachy bus with 30 beachy bus rules. So our challenge is to have 1,000 of children going to school by beachy bus. Beachy bus is not only going to school by bike, but it's also going to school by bike in a group with adults which are not your parents. It is important to families to let children going to school with other adults without their own. So there are many meanings in this operation, which is not the simple going to school. And so the third challenge is to take actions with a comprehensive approach in sustainable home-to-school mobility. So to put this experience of beachy bus in all the activities, both for education and for mobility. This manifesto, this call, subscribed call, is organized in 6 strategies. 6 strategies, which means which are translated later in 9 projects. The first strategy is dealing with education. So it's education to correct lifestyles and the awareness of educational problems. It means also a widespread education of sustainable mobility starting from the school. The second strategy is communication. Communication about the respect for behavior rules, which is a problem, by drivers and by road users. If you are the father or the mother of children going to school in a sustainable way, in a beachy bus, you are also a driver, and where you your respect for bikers and pedestrians increase. The third strategy is promotion. Is promoting good practices and experience about the home school routes, and is also to have the adhesions to sustainable mobility projects. The fourth strategy is about safety, is to increase the safety level around schools and the home-to-school routes, because like we saw in the yesterday's seminar, we are aimed to have the zero vision in the schools. The fifth strategy is to implement, of course, the services for sustainable mobility in home-to-school routes, so collective transport, school bus, carpooling, and to promote the not motorized movements. 6 strategies is a long-term strategies, and it's aimed to involve also land use planning and mobility planning and in the design of the new school buildings in considering sustainable mobility. These 6 strategies are translated in 9 projects, which is the most famous for us, the most important is Bici Bus or Pedibus. Pedibus is like a Bici Bus but on foot, not by bike. Is to put in safe many main home-to-school routes, to promote in school bus carpooling, and to promote the health and everyday movement, to sharing, to make campaign to share rules to have a safe and sustainable movement, and to produce many communication materials like leaflets, like posters involving many actors, like we put leaflets and written by a pediatrician, by surgeon for children, and we put them on schools, on the surgeon laboratory, offices, and everywhere. Another project is the Green Miles. Children when children go to school in a sustainable way, we gain a green mile. A green mile is a collection of green miles in order to reach Kyoto. It's a symbolic journey to the sustainability. One important project is the implementation of school mobility manager. We asked to all schools to recognize its own mobility manager, like enterprises. The mobility manager is a teacher, which is trained about mobilities. So it's a bridge between teachers and the school world and technicians for mobility. He speaks both the languages. The last project is the time conciliating, so some measures to put to use time to go to work and to school in order to use it in a more sustainable way. Now the main results, now as I have anticipated, is that we have now 500 of children going to school by Bici Bus or Pedibus, so in an absolute not motorized way. The 60% of children got to school by foot, by bicycle, by school bus, public transport, or use the carpooling. We have several case experiences in which with the good season they put the Bici Bus, and with the bad season parents organize themselves to make a carpooling. So it's important to have to trust in other families, in other adults. Another result is we make a network of 51 school mobility managers for 54 schools. So we have about 1 school mobility manager for each school, and we can participate in the call of the Ministry National Government with a project called Safe Home to School, in which we earn fundings for 10 projects of traffic calming in front of the home to school routes, and for the promotion of sustainable mobility in schools. So this, the amount of this project is about 1 million euros, and we can put in safety about 12 schools in the city, and giving them all the dispositive, all the infrastructures for cycling. This project is still in course and will end at the end of these years. So the conclusion are that the policies regarding the change of behaviors cannot be seen by a particular point of view, but need a comprehensive approach and an adequate of involvement of actors. For example, in our case, the most important effective measure project is the mobility manager. The mobility manager is the actor that allows to us to enter into schools to convince and to operate. And the second conclusion is that the simple designing urban space is not enough to bear complete, effective, and acceptance. So it's very effective if we accompany the design of urban space with a participation process, with the involvement of actors. And the last but not least is, of course, that talking to children is the best way to convince adults and families. I hope to be, I have been clear, and I don't know if I thank you, and I don't know if there are some questions.
Thank you, Alessandro. I will check, but I think there is no specific question, so just 1 second. No, oops. Let me check. Yes, we have a question. So it's a question from Geronimo Jablonski, and I'm going to read. So the decreasing of the percentage in bike commuting since the 70s is amazing. Does it have to be a certain way with the liberalization of school district in the public scheme? Are the parents able to choose the school, or are they forced to send the kids in the school which is the closest? Because that would make a difference if they have to walk or pedal in the school which are the closest one. So I don't know if you got the question. Is the bike commuting percentage linked to the fact that the school have changed the system it's organized? Basically, I think that's the question.
Sorry, I didn't understand this last question.
I think the way I understood the question is, so the decrease, there has been a decrease in the percentage of bike commuting, okay. And the person asking the question asked if it has to be, if it's linked to the fact that liberalization of school district, public schools has been implemented, if there is a link.
Okay. Now,
yeah, just one question. Because
there is another question.
There is another question, and I'm just checking because that's Geronimo. So maybe you can just, if Geronimo wants to ask the question properly, we can.
No, okay. I didn't understand. So now there is not a complete liberalization of districts. So this town is, I think, well planned from a land use point of view. It's still quite compact, but we have some sprawling phenomenon especially from the last 20 years. I think that this difference is due to many aspects. The first one is changing the way of living. In 1971, in each family, one people work, and generally the father work, and so people can accompany children, and so in a not so fast way. Now children are between the route from home to work, and parents accompany them. I think that is increased not the danger in the roads, but the idea, the perception of danger, and so people in general way, safety, and for urban point of view and from a road point of view. So people doesn't trust another people, and doesn't trust in their own children to leave them going to school at home. And so we have another important aspect, that is the national law now doesn't allow to let the children going to school alone, especially in the exit from the school. In the primary school, teacher have to give children to the parents or to an adult. So in this way, children doesn't go home alone, and parents in general move in by car. So the liberalization of districts is quite is not for everybody. Generally, you have a district in which you have to go, but if it's not possible, you have to change district, but it's not so easy. There are so few people that are going in other districts. Okay, thank you.
Okay, so that's okay. Okay, good. So I think the person is you answered the question. So thank you. And I see we have another question. Mariano, I was about to give you the floor, but you're maybe because you say you have a question for Milena. So I don't know if you want me to read it or if you want to ask your question. Maybe I can first read it, and if it's not complete, you can ask the question. So Milena, we have a question for you. Would it be possible a successful campaign without the municipality involvement? What do you think? That's the question from Mariano.
I didn't hear you very well. Can you please repeat the question?
Oh, yeah, sorry. I said the question was if it would be possible to have a successful campaign without the municipality involvement.
Well, I think that, as I said, in fact, it was our first lessons learned related to the political support and the participatory culture. Also the experiences in Elan proved that where there was a commitment and where the clear commitment of the mayor was expressed and support, it was much more credible, and it was much more easier, to conduct the engagement activities. So if you ask me, I think that it is absolutely necessary that you have the support of the municipality, and also the mayor saying loudly and openly that he supports that, because also then the citizens find another additional sense of their involvement, and also kind of guarantee that their opinions will be considered and so on. So yes, my answer would be yes.
Okay,
Did I answer the question?
I think so. I hope so. I've asked.
If not, then maybe.
I think so. Yeah, yeah. So he says thank you. I'm just going to check quickly if we have other questions, but it's almost time also to finish, and I know that some people have some commitments coming after. So I think that's okay. So I just want to conclude this webinar by saying, first of all, thank you to the speakers for your presentations and for your work, for sharing your experience. That was very interesting, and we had a very broad overview of different activities, different projects, different experience. I want to remind also that the presentation will be available in the coming days on the CIVITAS website. I also want to inform you that you will receive today, I think, or on Monday, an email with the link to a survey, and this survey is to give us your view on this webinar, on some comments or tips or suggestions for the following webinar we will organize. And I want also to remind you of the LinkedIn group we have on public participation. So if you are interested in joining, please join. And I think that's all from my side. So I hope you enjoyed this webinar, and I hope you learned a lot of things. And I can only wish you a very nice weekend. So I think that's all for the moment. And don't forget to check CIVITAS website for other webinar due in the coming days and coming weeks. Okay, so thank you for the participation, and have a good weekend.